Good evening, everybody. We're happy to have you here. We're going to crank this thing up tonight and really burn a lot of sacred cows. I think we've all heard that expression before. And so many people think that they go in the gym, and we see them every day in the gym, the health club, the fitness center, wherever it is, and they go in there, and what do? They hop on the treadmill, 10, 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes, jog, whatever, and then they'll hit the weights. They'll hit upper body, lower body, whatever it is they do. And that's it. They think that a jog on the treadmill, might be Stairmaster, but it's usually a treadmill, is sufficient. And I'm going to talk more about this as we go, but let's get up to speed here. So, and that's the title of tonight's webinar is just that. It's why your 10 to 15 minute treadmill warm-up run is doing you more harm than good. Well, let's ask this question right here. What is the goal of your warm-up before you lift weights? What is the goal? What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish during the warm-up prior to weightlifting? Well, let's talk about that. And I'm going to tell you. I'll answer that for you. Number one, you want to activate your respiratory system. And we're going to talk way more about that on the upcoming. Number two, you want to prepare connective tissue. Three, you want to stimulate the nervous system. And when you do all three of those, or really any one of those, you're going to raise your core body temperature. It's okay to work up a little bit of a sweat. You don't want to be pouring in sweat, but you want to raise your core body temperature during the warm-up. Okay, so the first one was activate the respiratory system. And immediately people think, well, that means I have to be panting out of breath. Well, not necessarily. No, it doesn't. If you're out of shape, you might be. And you might still be anyway, but you don't have to be. It's not a prerequisite. And they think to do that, to activate the respiratory system, you have to get on the treadmill and run, get on the bike, get on the Stairmaster. Well, that's silly. That's ridiculous. What is the respiratory system? It is basically the nuts and bolts are it's the heart and the lungs. That's all you need to know. Okay? And it promotes blood flow throughout the body. We want to promote circulation. We want blood flowing in those muscles. You could have been sitting at a desk all day. You could have been riding a car all day. Who knows? You might have been on the couch all day. You might have just woken up. You might, lift weights first thing in the morning. Bottom line is we want to promote circulation. We want to get the blood flowing and in turn rev up that metabolism prior to and the heart rate through the respiratory system, through the pathway. Next off, like I said, it will raise your core body temperature. Okay, so that's really the whole point of that. You don't, once again, and I'm going to repeat myself because this is an important point. You don't want to be dripping in sweat. You don't want to be gasping out of breath for air. Now, you don't need to run on the treadmill to do this. Running on the treadmill will accomplish this, but it won't do much else for you. Now, if you look at this picture here, and I'm going to circle it, you just got a woman doing squats, just doing what are called prison squats, because you lace your fingers behind the head. If you do 20 of those, and what I like to do is actually I'll do 5 with my feet super wide and my toes pointed out. Then I'll do 5. I'll walk my heels in about 2 inches and do 5 more. I'll walk my heels in a few more inches. So I'll literally do, 4 sets of 5, 20 reps. So does that make sense? So I'll actually, by my 4th set, my feet are a little bit closer than hers are. And when you do that, you just recruit more of the hip, the musculature in the glutes and hips and hamstrings. And mainly just the hip region and the low back, if that makes sense. So my point is that you do a few of these and your heart rate will go up. And we'll show you some other drills in the video, which we'll have planned in a second here. Now, the next step is to prepare the connective tissue. But prepare, activate, stimulate, warm up, fire, whatever you want to call it. But we want to prepare it for battle. Prepare it to lift a heavy load. Okay? Now, the first step to do that is decompression or traction. It means the same thing. There's traction or decompression movements. Now, you can see this image here of the guy, and he has his arm, the band choked around his wrist and choked around the top of the rack. And what he's doing is he's pulling And what that's doing is that's decompressing the wrist, the elbow, and the shoulder. And you're like, well, why can't I just hang from a chin-up bar? Why can't I just grab the side of a rack? And we've all seen people do them. They'll like grab this, they'll reach their arm around and grab like the side of the arm on the bench press and try to stretch their pecs out. I know you guys have seen that in the gym. Or we'll see like someone grab the side of a squat rack and stretch their lats out. Here's the difference. When you're doing that, you're having to squeeze and grip the side of the rack or the side of the bench press arm. And you're having to pull with your body. And when you pull with your body and you squeeze it with your fingers to hold on tight, your arm is tensed up, it's flexed. Does that make sense? And you can't traction it properly. Here's the difference with the band. The band pulls back. So you'll lean back or whatever and build some tension. The band is elastic. So it's fighting to stretch back, and in the process, pulling your elbow and shoulder decompression apart. Okay? Now here's the second part of it. When you're stretching out on the rack, on the bench press by yourself, just grabbing it, because your arm is flexed and not relaxed, you're not able to totally gain full decompression. You can relax your arm if you choke the band around it, guys, or the band's choked around your hand and wrist. You can relax. Now, you'll still have to lean back, but you don't have to pull with your arm. Now, you can when you do other movements, but just as far as the strictly decompression and traction, the band will pull against you while your arm is relaxed. Does that make sense? Now, if you're a woman or even a guy, and you're weak as water and you're just starting out, this is not that important. For someone like me, and I'm not even that strong anymore. I'm not really that big or strong. I was stronger now. I was stronger in high school than I am now, much stronger. But I was a lot bigger too. But the whole point I even mentioned the whole strength issue is that for someone like me, I'm not that strong, but I've been lifting for so long, I have wear and tear. I'm just beat up. I mean, I've been lifting for I think 24 years now. It's been a while. I've been lifting on a regular basis, on a weekly basis for 24 years. So, and I'm a smart lifter, and I take care of my body, but I do this, and it makes a world of difference. But this is part of the picture here. Next up are mobility drills, and I'm going to skip ahead real quick to flexibility drills. Okay, what's the difference between mobility drills or mobility and flexibility? Okay, mobility refers to range of motion of the joint. Flexibility refers to range of motion of the muscle. Okay, and ROM just stands for range of motion. That's all it means. So this is a great little mobility drill, and it would actually, it looks like she's doing a Spider-Man lunge right here. And that also does flexibility too, because you're really getting your hip flexors on these. If she pulled her chest up, she would at least, not so much with her this far. But here's the great part, what I'm going to show you guys here in a minute. I got a demo video that's actually on private. It's a private, what's it called? The settings are under private on my YouTube page, and it's only for certain clients that buy a certain program. And I'm going to give you guys front row access to it tonight. It's about 7.5 minutes long, and I'm going to play it in about 5 minutes when we get to the end of this is a quick webinar. When we get to the end of the webinar tonight, I'm going to play it. And while it's playing tonight, you guys can ask questions or comment in the little chat bar on the side of the screen, and I'll answer them. So, does this help out? Let me know. I mean, I think seeing it front row seating, right there, crisp, clear demonstration, visual demos is the best way to learn something, in my opinion. So I think it'll help y'all, and I'm going to give you guys front row access tonight of something that's never made public before. So next is the stimulation of the nervous system. Okay? Now, the stimulation of the nervous system, the best way to do this is through plyometrics. Well, what are plyometrics? It's jumping. That's what plyometrics mean. And this exercise here is called a burpee. You go from standing, and you guys have seen them on my my YouTube page. But she's standing, squat down, push-up position, jump back up, and explode in the air. When you do a burpee and you jump, you're not trying to touch the basketball rim, guys. Or guys can if you want, but for you ladies out there that might be a little overweight, you're just trying to get a couple inches off the ground. You just want to move fast, down, up, explode up fast, okay? Even if you're doing an upper body workout, even if you're doing chin-ups for the day, this is, just, you can still do these. And here's the thing, guys, you don't need to do 20 of these or 10 of these, just do 3 of them. I do one. I'll do one burpee. I'll do one burpee after all my other drills before I do squats or deadlifts. Another great thing is to do my dynamic movement. So what is a dynamic movement? A dynamic movement is when you lift or throw an object as fast as possible. Okay? Think of a medicine ball. Medicine ball throw is one of the best exercises before you do chin-ups or even bench press, any upper body, is to take a medicine ball and just, get a wide, about a shoulder width stance, take the ball back over your head, and it might even tap the back of your neck. And then, boom, just slam it straight down and just throw it straight down on the ground. And, it'll bounce back up, so, don't let it smack you in the face. But do 2 or 3 of those, and you'll fire up your back, your lats tremendously from that. And what it does is it just primes the nervous system to fire with as much force as possible for the upcoming exercise. Now, that was really it. That's simple. Now I'm going to show you the video in a minute, but somebody made a post earlier, and I wanted to do one other quick point in here or somebody had a question on my Facebook page earlier, I think yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And basically, the guy says, what about people that do cardio, not a warm-up, because people do an 8-minute jog, 10-minute jog on the treadmill before they lift weights. And that's what this whole webinar is about, not to do. Well, what if you do it after you lift weights, and it's for like 15 or even 30 minutes? And what if it's the treadmill, or what if it's the Stairmaster? What if it's a spinning class? So, here's why it's wrong. And I forgot the guy's name. Hopefully he's watching, but we're going to record this anyway so the friend can see it. This is why you don't want to do cardio after you weight train. As soon as you finish lifting, you want to start the recovery process. Whether that means eating something, drinking something, sleeping, or just resting, okay? Whatever, but you want to, recovery is in one of those ways. So you want to start doing that, okay? And running or biking or spinning class or whatever after you lift will prolong the recovery process. It pushes you deeper into potentially overtraining. Guys, you can't eat, drink, sleep, or rest while you're running. You can't do it. There's no way. I guess it could be done, but the point I'm making is that that's what you want to solely focus on. You don't want to prolong the recovery process. And the solution to that is that you do your cardio or your metabolic work on days where you don't lift weights. Now, what does this little ratio mean, 3 to 2? What this means is that what I found for 90% of men and women is that if you do metabolic days, if you do your 3 weightlifting days a week and 2 cardio metabolic days a week, okay? So 3 plus 2 is 5. All right, there's 7 days in a week. So what that means is that gives you 2 days to do nothing, just to rest, to go to the movies, to go, go with your friends, whatever you like to do. And then 5 other days of the week where you'll exercise. And 3 of those days will be a 45-minute weightlifting session. And 2 of those days will be a 10 to 25-minute cardio session. That's it. So now what if someone says, whoa, that's not enough? Well, my response is, that is enough. 5 days a week, 3 weights, 2 metabolics. It is enough if you eat and train correctly. It is. It absolutely is. Here's the thing, especially if you're just starting out. If you just start on the right map, you don't need more than 2 metabolic days a week. Just starting out. Now, 6 weeks down the road or a month into it, we can add some stuff, but you don't need it from the get-go. Now, the only time I would ever do cardio and weights in the same day would be during a contest prep or photo shoot prep. If you had a photo shoot or you had to get in, here's the key word, if you had to get in peak condition. And I'm talking like 4% body fat for a guy or like 12% for a female who's drug-free. And the way you would do that, if you did do that, you would never do it every day up front. You'd start off at 1 day a week would be this. And what I would do is you always get in 2 meals between the 2 sessions. So what that means is that you can either do weights or the cardio first thing in the morning. You can do weights at 10 a.m. and cardio at 3 p.m. You can do cardio at 5 a.m. and weights at 5 p.m. It doesn't matter as long as you get 2 meals in between, at least 2 meals. You might get 4 meals in if you do them far apart enough, but at the minimum 2 meals in, which is about 4 hours if you want to give your food enough time to digest properly. Just to be clear, 99.999% of people listening to this will never need to do that. I know you think you're the 1/10% that's out there, but you're really not. Unless you're on a contest prep protocol, and even when you're doing this, you should never do that more than 3 days a week with doubles, unless you're in the very last 3 to 4 weeks of your prep. So that's should give you a clear picture of the warm-up process. Now, I'm going to actually right now, I'm going to actually the choice, and I took my screen share off intentionally for now. Do you guys want to watch the? It doesn't matter to me. You as co-presenter bring the. Okay, it came off, so we're good. So let's do the video then. Let's run with the YouTube video. I think we'll watch this. And guys, you can type in the chat bar at any given time and communicate with me there. But watch this mobility, okay? I'm going to let the recording play. Then we're going to let Stephen and our other. There we go. Let me, I'm going to bring Stephen on right now. Where's Big Stephen? Let's see here. These. Type in here if you want to come on. Type in here if you want to, if you'd like to, yeah, Stephen, let me try to get this thing going, buddy. He's going to unmute themselves.
All attendees are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
I'm going to try to unmute all the attendees are unmuted if you hit *6. Yeah, hit *6 and see if it unmutes you. And one of you guys try to talk, and I'll let you guys ask questions. Let me try this, Stephen. Oh, there you go. All right, Stephen, try now. Can you hear me now? I think it says you're, try again. Let me try you one more time, buddy. Thanks for your patience, guys. I know this is kind of frustrating. All right, here we go. All right, I got you, buddy. I got you right here. Let me go from this angle, and we'll get you on. Well, it ain't. You've muted yourself. This is. Let me try one more thing, buddy. Sorry, thanks for your patience, guys. I try to get two are unmuted, so two of you guys are unmuted. So Stephen, you should be able to talk. And I think, go ahead.
Attendees are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
I think I can hear you.
Yeah,
Try again. Yeah, big
I
dog.
think I've got it now.
All right, I can hear you. Turn your volume down about 1 or 2 notches.
Okay.
It's a little bit scratchy. They change the platform on this thing all the time. I don't know why they do. But I think we're good to go. So tell me, now tell us where you're from and how long you've been following my Facebook and webinars.
From Massachusetts, and I've actually been following you for about a half a year now. And I have to say, I'm like changing my diet, changing my routines, letting go of any of the false beliefs that I had set upon me and programmed into me before.
Well, let me ask you this. You seem like you're one of the people out there, and I'm just going off Facebook, that kind of understands where I'm coming from. You get the nonsensical, the no nonsensical approach, rather, if you will, and you kind of see the big. But I get the feeling you've been down the whole weight loss, emotional eating roller coaster before.
Yeah, you touch upon how loss isn't an emotional thing. People aren't at home emotionally while they eat, and they don't think logically. And probably last year when I was trying to figure out the best way to burn my own body fat without a trainer, without my own nutritionist, without basically winging it, which is not the way I need to do it. Something sort of snapped, and when it happened, I went through a whole transformation of how I thought about food. And I started treating it more like a business transaction. If I work very hard, I do the right things, even though they're not the way I thought they'd be, that I would get the results that I needed. And I came across where five actions on this sparked a huge change in me, and that I started following you. I started realizing the pitfalls of my original program, eating refined foods, overdoing it with protein powder, doing all things like that. I did initially lose a lot of weight, but my body type was squishy. So I did mention it on your Facebook page that I was 120 pounds. However, a lot of that had been muscle and water. I had this pizza dough texture stomach. So it was that attractive.
No, that's good. That's good info. Real quick to change topics, I actually promoted you to presenter, Stephen. So if you see that, and it'll give you much better connection. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to let's see who else wants to come on. And Stephen, you could so find that icon or that activation thing or that notification on your screen. I promoted you to presenter, so that'll just give us a clear reception.
Okay.
While you're looking for that in the next 20 or 30 seconds, if you find that, accept the presenter so it'll just give you a clear reception. That's all it'll do. And we'll give you a few seconds to nail that down. Kim, do you want to come on? How about Whitney? Whitney, do you want to come on? I know I've seen you on Facebook, and Stephanie, or who else do we have? I think Giselle said she wanted to, or Felix, you're welcome to come on. Who's that? Donna, I think Catalina. So whoever wants to, y'all let me know, and I'll make you a co-presenter as well before I go back to Stephen here in a second. And you're welcome to come on and ask questions. Well, just sit tight a minute and let me know if you want Stephen, since he was nice enough to come on. So now, what do you think, Stephen, are the one or two key points you've heard me talk about in my webinars or Facebook that really resonated with you?
Number one, the falsified healthy foods. The food that you think are made, yet they still fall within the region of refined carbohydrates, refined proteins. And I was shocked to hear, and I did research on canned meats, how they are cooked once before entering the can, and they are heated outside the can second time, right in the further. That was one thing that shocked me the most, because I have coworkers, people around me that say, "Oh, eat stale bread, chew sugarless gum, do all these crazy tricks to lose body fat." I was twice my size. Well, go figure. And I think another one was overtraining. That was the best thing, and I was probably one of the number one culprits. I would get into the gym, run on the treadmill. I'd be so fired, angry. I'd use my aggression and tons of weight, and then immediately work on my abs as I possibly could. Jump on the treadmill again, do a 1 minute run, another 1 mile run, do an abs, another mile run, another abs. By the time I got out of it, my belly was so swollen from the ab workout, and my legs were so tired that it completely destroyed my week of hard work, whether I was dieting properly.
No, I totally feel you on that. And a lot of beginners, they're overzealous and they're so anxious that they think more is better. You know what? More is better when it comes to food. Less is better when it comes to exercise. And a lot of people think the opposite is true. They think more is better when it comes to exercise if fat loss is your goal. And I'll repeat it again if it got jumbled up. But I'm different. I say that if you're trying to burn fat, if you're just starting out or you're at a plateau and you want to improve and burn, when it comes to exercise, less is more, and when it comes to food, more is less. And society has it backwards. They think eat less, exercise more, and if you're out of shape and you do that, you'll make really good progress. But then you're plateau. Then you run into a brick wall, and you can't. And so instead of changing their routine, people just think, well, if I lost my first 8 pounds by running 2 miles a day, that means I should really start running 4 miles a day, and then 5 miles a day. And I should, instead of eating, I hate talking about calories, but just for the sake of this example, Instead of eating 2,000 calories a day, now I'm going to drop down to 15 calories a day, 1,500, and now 1,200. Well, what's your goal? To run 10 miles a day and eat 100 calories, going in both directions? And I know that's an extreme example. But there are people that do that, anorexics, or they're called exercise addicts that are also anorexics and bulimics. And that's when you're in serious trouble. That's when you're at the far end of the spectrum, and that's when your life hangs in the balance. What do you think about that?
Look at a store that sees customers on a regular basis for situations like this. I'm not going to name the store. It's just one of the run-of-the-mill telling me, and one woman actually said legitimately, "Oh, I've cut all fat out of my diet. I even don't eat almonds anymore because they're so high in calories." And my jaw dropped. I had to gesticulate with my hands for a little while because I couldn't make words to understand what I talked to her. And I finally told her, I was like, "They're not going to burn any fat. You're not allowing your body any fat." And she goes, "Well, we'll see what you know when I'm 10 pounds skinnier." Okay. More money in my register when you fail. Good.
That sounds like a few of the people on my Facebook page. I'll tell you what really gets people is people think that if I bust my ass, lift weights, kill myself in the gym, and then run a Tough Mudder or what's another one? Tough Mudder. There's like 10 of them. Spartan Race, Tough Mudder, Spartan Race.
Your favorite CrossFit?
CrossFit, or a marathon, but like these obstacle course runs, people think if they bust their ass working out, doing a zillion fits and reps, that'll and they bust their ass and they risk injury and they get all muddy and dirty and skin their elbows. If you want to do that just for the sense of fulfillment and the sense of accomplishment, and you just like getting dirty and you like the adventure, I mean, if you like obstacle courses, do it. But I don't. I paid my dues in the football field, had my shoulder reconstructed, other shoulder scope, so I don't exercise for recreation now. I do it for aesthetic and health purposes. But getting back to the point is that people think if they bust their ass in these obstacle course runs and Tough Mudders, that means they can also reach their weight loss goals too, their fat loss goals. And I tell people, don't combine the two. If you want to burn fat and have a hot, sexy fitness figure, don't do the Spartan Race. Now, you might do that and lose some fat. You might do that and get some muscle tone in your chicken legs. You might do that and lose a couple pounds of fat. But that doesn't mean that's the best avenue to burn fat.
It is the best avenue if that's your goal to be physically fit.
Your goal is to do a Spartan Race. Then do it if that's the goal. But if your number one goal, your objective, what is your objective? What is your goal? And some I want to burn fat and I want to build some muscle and have a lean bikini body for the summer. I would say eat a customized diet, eating pattern program for you. And number two, incrementally add in easy, light to moderate exercises on a monthly basis. And then every month, evaluate and have your programs reconstructed and changed up. In a football game, when I played college football, we wouldn't go into a football game with the same plays and the same game plan. We'd switch it up each week. We'd have what's called a game plan. Coaches would film for hours. We'd find the weaknesses in our opponent, and we'd scout our opponent. We'd have a fresh new strategic map of attack each week, okay? And same thing with your body. Your body is an amazing adaptive organism. Whatever you do to it, just because you lose a few pounds, your body's going to quickly snap and try to adjust so it won't lose any more fat. Tooth and nail to hold on to hold on tight to store stubborn body, coerce our body to release fat. And the way you do that, the number one way is through what you put in your mouth. The number two way is what you exercise, your physical activity. So, but I'm getting way off
There's one
topic.
last
But
point I'd like to raise. The last point I do want to raise is the myth that men burn more body fat than women. And I had to take a long time, and I had about 5 women in my store. They were all surrounding me. They were all intent on hearing this fact, and they all were quick to attack me back and say, "No, you're a guy. You'll always burn body fat better than we do." And I looked at all of them and I said, "You're all about 5'6", 5'7", right?" And they all kind of agreed. Yeah, they were in that same range. I'm 6 feet tall. I said to them, I weigh 200 pounds. Do you all went on the treadmill at the same time, and we entered our weight in, and we all walked a mile, that our calorie burn rate would be the exact same? You're telling me that all day long we're both burning the same calories and you're not losing body fat? I told them that it's not the hormone biology, it is overall the amount of weight that you have to move around on a constant basis. And I even tell people not to get discouraged when they start to see amazing results to begin with. 1-2 weeks later, the results start to slow down. I make them realize that as you approach your goal, it is going to slow down. Don't weigh as much. Your body's adapting to this new progress. It's not fighting you. It's just adapting, and it's trying to work with the new weight it has. It's a lighter body.
that's a great way to put it. That's also, I think that ties into the whole thing that the human body adapts. So you do have a lighter body, but you're also, and I talk about this in my article, Running Makes You Fat. Have you read that article? Stephen, have you read my article called Running Makes You Fat?
No, I haven't gotten a chance to.
Okay, I wrote it, like, it was published about, I think, 4 years ago. But anyway, it just talks about, I used the example like you did that, well, actually, I didn't use the example, which is why I think your idea was good, that your body weighs less as you burn more fat and as you lose weight, and therefore you won't have the caloric expenditure turnover because your body weighs less 10, 15, however many pounds down the road, or even 3 pounds down the road. But what I talked about in the article is that I think I labeled it as exercise efficiency. A mile a day on the treadmill every day of the week. After a month, your body's not going to burn as many calories jogging that 1 mile as it did at the start of the month. You'll be in better shape. Your body will have adapted to the conditioning level, the aerobic conditioning. What will happen is, so then to burn that same number of calories that you were burning the first day, you might have to run 2 miles. Does that make sense? So you've got to keep running more and more to make up for the increased or conditioning calorie burning process or fat burning process. And so what happens is, that's why you see people at the gym that run the treadmill every day. They have to run more and more and more to elicit the same amount of energy turnover as they did 2 years ago.
Or you could be dumb like I was in college and wear ankle weights and a 40-pound weighted vest.
That's a great point. Well, I appreciate you coming on. You've been a big supporter, and we love having you. And you're welcome to come on the next webinar. A lot of people stuck around, so, and you can stay on the call too if you want. I'm gonna actually. Does anybody else want to come on? I'm gonna actually. I think, is this Kim? I'm gonna promote Kim to presenter, and I'm gonna promote. Let's see who else. Stephanie. And I'm gonna promote Felix to presenter. And if you guys want to talk, come on. If not, then we'll wrap this thing up in a few. But the door is open.
I'm going to mute my line just so I can hear them properly.
Okay. Well, I've promoted a bunch of you guys on here. I think everybody almost who got a lot of you guys promoted. So let me promote Giselle. Oh, you're promoted too. Get Whitney. You can come on and talk. You're welcome to. It's in Q&A mode. Even put his on mute so it wouldn't echo. You're all welcome to come on and ask any questions. And okay, we had a good webinar tonight, guys. I really appreciate it. You guys were good. Appreciate Stephen coming on. If you don't mind,